What do you have for your backlog this?
So Ethan, I think you were the one. I leaned so far. Ethan, I'm gonna start that over because I was like leaning all the way back with my arms up, stretching.
This is all staying in. Don't worry.
I believe it. So when we had talked earlier, you said that you were gonna have 2 backlogs, and I was like, "Oh, should I have 2?" And you're like, "No, unless you can make it fit."
David,
Make that connection.
I don't have 2 backlogs. I only
But
have 1.
you said you were gonna have 2. We're keeping this.
I said
in 'cause
maybe.
Okay, well, it somehow turned out that I watched 2 movies that were both on my backlog, and then I come to find out that they're both fucking connected.
Okay, let's hear it.
So, the first one I watched was A Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors, which is...
Okay.
What?
I'm so curious as to if it's not a Nightmare on Elm Street film, what it could possibly be that connects.
You'll see.
I'm so excited.
Obviously, Nightmare on Elm Street 1 is a classic amongst horror films.
Yeah, Wes Craven, he done did it.
Yes. The amazing character of Freddy Krueger, played by Robert Englund, is phenomenal. And in 3, I think 3 is, from everything I've heard, because this is my first time watching it, from everything I heard, that this is like the best sequel. And for all the Nightmare on Elm Streets, you should only watch the odd numbers. I've heard that the even numbers are kind of trash. So Nightmare on Elm Street 3 also gives us our acting debut of Patricia Arquette, which is kind of crazy. And it follows like, so the first Nightmare on Elm Street follows a group of kids in high school who are, being chased, attacked, haunted by Freddy. And the third one I feel like kind of takes like an interesting step forward in like that mythology, I guess, where it's following a bunch of kids who have been having that, but then have also been put into basically a psych ward to deal with what people are just thinking is just like their, craziness. And the kids, learn how to battle in their dreams, hence the name Dream Warriors. And I gotta say, like, the first one, I feel like the first Nightmare on Elm Street is a lot better, I think. The first one has, like, some of the most iconic shots from, like, a horror movie ever. Like, the glove coming out of the bathtub, the wall, like, the elastic wall, fucking great. And this one, I feel like, is leaning a lot more into Freddy's one-liners a lot more, which is, like, the start of him really just becoming this, like, one-liner machine. And in here, I feel like he's not perfectly balancing, but he's balancing a little wobbly with the scariness and the humor of what Freddy is later just, a stereotype of.
Right.
And it's fun, it's good. It's not, both of my backlogs this time around were kind of good, but not as good as I had hoped and had heard they were. And I think that's just an expectation thing. But, that's life. And, oh, well. Should I go into my next one now? And then we can
just
do both here?
jump into it.
So the connection... Right? So the other one is one that has literally been on my list for so long. I've been trying to buy the Blu-ray. There is no Blu-ray for this movie.
Can you tell me what it is, and then I'll see if I can guess the connection?
Yes, you can. Perfect. The movie is 2005's Red Eye.
They both have something spooky on a plane.
No, there's no plane in Nightmare on Elm Street 3. So Red Eye stars Rachel McAdams, Cillian Murphy, and who knew it, Brian Cox is also in this thing.
Okay.
Now the reason that this movie had always been on my backlog is because Cillian Murphy's fucking awesome. Rachel McAdams is also awesome, but like I was on a binge for Cillian Murphy content, and I was like, oh, this looks awesome. It's got pretty like solid reviews. It sounds pretty interesting. And then I put it on because it just hit HBO. You know who it's directed by?
Is it Wes Craven?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
I know. I was like, what the fuck is this? I didn't know that. So Red Eye. It's a tight little movie. 85 minutes long. I would say 2/3 of this takes place with Rachel McAdams and Cillian Murphy on a plane, and stuff happens. Like it's really just like a talking piece. Trying to like, it's like a chess game. Until they get off the plane, and then I don't really like the movie. So, like, when they're on the plane, and even when they're in the airport before they board the plane,
mm-hmm.
I'm kind of in. Like, I'm into it. Like, I like those, like, chessboard piece movies where, like, she's moving her pieces, but Cillian Murphy sees that, and he makes his moves, too, you know? Like, it's really fun. But everything that's happening outside this plane sucks. Like, I'm just not... I don't give a fuck about any of it. Like... I don't want to say this because, like, it's not really a twist, but, like, I don't know. It's kind of a twist. But I just don't care. Like, the main thing is that Rachel McAdams has to call her hotel because she's, I guess, a manager at a hotel. And she has to get a guest moved from one room to the other. And that's like the big thing. That's the big piece on the board. And I'm just like, okay, I don't really care. Like, I don't care about anybody in this hotel. Honestly, I care about Rachel McAdams because she's Rachel McAdams, and it's really fun to watch Cillian Murphy do his thing because he's a good actor.
He's always good.
Yeah, but everything else, like, there's some stuff with Rachel McAdams' dad, who's played by Brian Cox, and I'm like, well, okay, I don't care. I don't feel that, you know. I'm feeling like this, like, suspense thriller aspect of it on the plane, where things are, like, tight, you know. It's right there. You're literally seat to seat, elbow to elbow. Everyone's been on a plane. It's super close, you know. It's right there, and then everything else is like, I don't care about that stuff. Like, it's not even interesting. So, kind of disappointing. Like, I was really with it until the end. I was like, I don't like any of that. You know?
Yeah.
Have you seen this movie?
No.
Okay. You don't feel like I spoiled anything, do you?
I don't think I'm ever gonna watch Red Eye.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't on my radar. It wasn't like.
It's one of those ones where, like, it's a weird one to be on my backlog, but it's always been a movie I've been, like, trying to seek out for so long.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, that's Red Eye.
Beep boop, beep beep boop, beep boop. Hello, it is the end of that human movie reviewed by my fellow humans, of which I am one. A human, of course, that's me. Joey, real name? Yup, a human, not a robot. I am not a robotic algorithm designed to instruct you to click one of the hyperlinks on screen to listen to more weekly mini episodes or more snippets from the full show. Beep boop, subscribe or perish.